Welcome. Welcome to faculty, colleagues, families, friends, and most importantly, welcome, class of 2024. I'm Lynn Cooley, Dean of the Graduate School, and it is my sincere pleasure to be here to celebrate this momentous occasion with all of you. Graduates, during your time at Yale, you have been an integral part of one of humanity's greatest achievements, the research university. Here, our mission is not just to learn, but to create and share knowledge that not only enlightens, but also serves society. At Yale, you've learned that discovering new truths is not a solitary pursuit. You've thrived within a vibrant academic community where you could follow your curiosity, rigorously test your ideas, benefit from critique, and often venture in unexpected directions. You've learned to craft arguments backed by solid evidence, skills that are crucial as you step out to counter skepticism and foster trust in the power of education and research. Each year at matriculation, when we welcome the incoming class of students, I stress that graduate school is largely about embracing uncertainty and exploring the unknown. I hope your journey has been as thrilling as it has been enlightening. While the path may have seemed daunting at times, today you stand ready to celebrate your achievements and look eagerly to the future. As you leave Yale, you take with you not just knowledge, but the ability to think critically and innovatively about the problems our society faces. You are problem solvers, leaders, team players, and effective communicators. Whatever challenges you face next, let the confidence you've gained here inspire you to tackle them with courage. You also carry forth with you the relationships you formed at Yale with peers, mentors, staff, and faculty. These connections are invaluable and will sustain you on whatever path your life takes next. This company of scholars and the society of friends, as former Yale President George W. Pearson once called it, is a gift that Yale imparts on its students, and I hope that you cherish it for years to come. To that end, let's acknowledge the contributions of the many faculty sitting with us here today, as well as those who are not here who have supported you throughout your studies. While you would not be here without these faculty members, you have also been supported by many people on campus whose labor and loyalty contribute every day to make Yale the distinguished university it is. Let's take a moment to name several additional groups of staff who stand at the heart of Yale. The custodial and maintenance staff who keep our campus beautiful, the clerical and technical staff who support all of our academic endeavors, the managerial and professional staff who lead our departments and school, and particularly my colleagues in the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences who sustain this institution within which graduate education thrives at Yale. Lastly, I want to acknowledge the superb talent of our organist, Mr. Oak Martin, one of the many accomplished students at the School of Music, performing on the world's great pipe organ here in Woolsey Hall to celebrate you all. Every moment in the attempt to bring light, to truth depends on our collaborations and relationships with others. Achieving an advanced degree is only possible with the support of professors, mentors, classmates, collaborators, our families, friends, and loved ones. These are the people we turn to when things go wrong, and those who celebrate occasions like this when we thrive. This support network is crucial, and today we celebrate their role in your journey as well. Graduates, it has been my privilege as your dean to lead the graduate school and support your transformation into the scholars you are today. Graduate study demands inspiration, dedication, perseverance, and resilience, and you have demonstrated all these qualities by reaching today's milestone. I'm immensely proud of your accomplishments and excited to see where your talents take you. Congratulations. We will now award the graduate degrees. We will call the graduates to the stage alphabetically by the program in which they have earned the degrees. Dean Sarah Inslee will read the citations. Please come forward as your name is called. I also invite the faculty here with us to come up to the front of the stage as their department or program is called and join me in congratulating their degree recipients. And please applaud as much as you wish. Dean Inslee.
Thanks. Thank you. We begin with the program in African American Studies for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Stefan Daniel Andrade. Alicia Hall. Oh, I'm sorry. I have to take the thing off. Micah Jones. DeMar Francis Lewis IV. Alexandra Monet Thomas. For the program in African Studies for the degree of Master of Arts. Juliet Aware. Abigail Elizabeth Reynolds. Jiqing Xu. Xu Zhang. For the program in American Studies for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Emily Carson Coates. Lucero Estrella. Anshul Saraf. Jacinda Tran. For the program in Anthropology, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Boxchulun Darseveg. For the program in Applied Mathematics, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Abhinav Bhardwaj. For the program in Applied Physics, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Shumita Ghosh. Yi-Chi Wang. Ishu Zhou. For the program in Archaeological Studies, for the degree of Master of Arts, Sarah Al-Shaban. Yurun An. Isabel Flora Heslin. Bridget Marianne Perry. Sophia Slotweiner Nye. Catherine Lucille Streitz. Tianjue Tui. For the program in Architecture, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Phoebe Leddens. Zachariah Augustin Michieli. Mundi Pretorius. Aaron Benjamin Toby. For the program in Astronomy, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Auditro Ghosh. For the program in Cell Biology, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Caroline Abigail Brown. Emma Carley. Na-Young Kwon. Taryn Justine Olivas. Neng Wan. Chen Chen Xiong. For the program in Cellular and Molecular Physiology, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Tracy Ellen Lamoya. Shini Zhang. For the program in Chemistry, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Emily Branham. Matt Capobianco. Claire Cody. Leah Julie Connor. Deandra Dilworth. Natavon Dudkina. Nathaniel Scott Greenwood. Julian Christopher Grundler. Rebecca Ann Howell. Josephine Ann Jayworth. Fong Lin. Hanyu Liu. Grace Meng. Michelle Moon. Benjamin John Guy Russo. Taya Dale Marie Tarosi. For the program in Classics, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Anna Elizabeth Grant. Erin Jean-Hee Kim. Raymond Austin Lahiri. For the program in Comparative Literature, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Spencer Brentley Lenfield. Maru Pabon. For the program in Computational Biology and Bioinformatics, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Egbert Castro. J. Nick Fisk. Alexander Thomas Grigas. Tianxiao Li. Rihao Chu. Arthi Venkat. Mamie Wang. For the program in Computer Science, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Emmanuel Adeniran. Javi Dadashkarimi. Samuel Ethan Judson. John Lazarsfeld. Karthik Sriram. For the degree of Master of Science, Hongyu Chen. Lin Chen. Chen Mini. Janchi Dong. Yushuan Ding. Wen Yu Du. Bowen Duanmu. Shenglan Feng. Yi Chen Gao. Chen Gong. Kai Yuen Guan. Iran Guo. He Fengxiang. Juni Huang. Alexander Yuzheng Li. Mark Lisi. Hanjing Liu. Dequin Ma. Cody Murphy. Chenya Chi. Kejian Shi. In Yung Shin. Peter Takahashi. Yi Heng Tao. Chiyu Wang. Yining Wang. Zhe Wang. Xinchen Yan. Haiyue Yang. Yu Tong Yi. Chu Hao Zhang. Heng Guangzhou. Jim Zhou. Zishun Zhou. Haolan Zuo. For the program in Earth and Planetary Sciences, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Yantao Luo. Zhongtian Zhang. For the program in East Asian Languages and Literatures, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Caitlin O'Donnell Casiello. James William Scanlon Kanegata. For the program in East Asian Studies, for the degree of Master of Arts, Michael Thomas Burns. Chu Ching Chan.
Tue Jiung. Alan Reixiang Dai. Nong Yu Duan. Miku Ebata. Xianda Huang. Jiangkai Liu. Thea Sheeran. For the program in Ecology and Evolutionary Biology, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Michael Blazenin. Mansa Srivastav. Daniel Joseph Stadmauer. For the program in Economics, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Pedro Miguel Casavilca Silva. Alvaro Esteban Cox Lescano. Han Xiao Cui. Mirko Dinelli. Tan Gan. William Daniel Felipe Geraldo Paez. Rodrigo Juan Guerrero Castañeda. Niem Huynh. Sid Kankanala. Jaewon Lee. Oh Ryung Ha. Fernando Luis Pereira Cordero. Bernardo Silva de Carvalho Ribeiro. Ji-Hun Song. Siuyuat Wong. Wei Xiang. Qian Yao Ye. In engineering and applied sciences,
for the program in biomedical engineering for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Shuichi Guo. Shoithi Strabonthi Halder. Wenying Luo. Anna Yulian Lin. Daniel Hyungseok Pak. Karthika Selvaganesan. Wendy Shu. Graham Su. Shiv Kumar Vishnabet Sridhar. Hugh Shao. Bo Zhou. For the degree of Master of Science, He Liu. For the program in Chemical and Environmental Engineering, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Wyatt McMurtry Arnold. Jake Heinlein. David J. Kim. Mary Kate Mitchell Lane. Junseok Lee. Soham Patel. Holly Riddell. Nikita Sugak. Yajen Shui. Xiaowei Zhang. Alessandro Zulli. For the degree of Master of Science, Lingna Shu. For the program in Electrical Engineering, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Ruslan Dashkin. Xiuan Dong. Chao Ma. Nicholas Eric Nordland. Mohan Chen. Chen Yu Yu. For the program in Mechanical Engineering and Materials Science, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Emily Ray Kinzer. Guanan Liu. Arindam Raj. Shiyu Shu.
For the program in Personalized Medicine and Applied Engineering, for the degree of Master of Science, Sarah Michelle Antonovich. Alexis Monique Briano. Nina Mae Brooks. Victoria Joyce Bird. Wonjong Cho. Shelby Teresa DeRoche. Rithvik Gangkot. Catherine Jayakumar. Melanie King. V. Lee. Jessica Lynn Quinones. Ravinkar Sidhu. Lawrence Chupuqueter. Grayson Wagner. Sitong Steve Ye. Joshua Zhu. For the program in English Language and Literature, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Marcus Anthony Alaimo. Andy Smith Berry. Daniel Diaz de la Rocha. Seamus Arthur Nugent Dwyer. Emily Miriam Gleeder. Anthony Hazlitt. Adam Keller. Shuhan Luo. Elizabeth Ruth Mandel Perkins. Sarah Hope Smith. Colton Alexander Valentine. Elizabeth Colette Wyatt. For the degree of Master of Arts, Emma Yin Hodgdon. Lily Maya Isaacs. For the program in Environment, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Aleka Mead Borsuk. Hyan Michelle Choi. Aishwarya Vishwanathan Iyer. Wen Zhou. For the program in European and Russian Studies, for the degree of Master of Arts, Margaret Kate Lindruth. Nazirka Mokhlisova. For the program in Experimental Pathology, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Matthew Angel Murray. Suteja Vikram Paradkar. For the program in Film and Media Studies, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Pooja Priti Sen. For the program in Genetics, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Miles Harris Alderman III. Maria de Jesus Benitez Ortiz. Catherine Berg. Siyuan Cheng. Delfina Gonzalez. Damir Musayev. Victor Olmos. Mark Edward Pownell. Nancy Sanchez. Rebecca Morgan Starble. Bing Young. Anali Min Yurkovitz. Shu-Pei Zhang. For the degree of Master of Science, Hannah Rose Levy. Okay. For the program in Germanic Languages and Literatures, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Lawrence Reimar Hagel. Netta Savinsky. For the program in History, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Hamza Beg. Alexander Durham Batson. Andres Bustamante. Angelica Clayton. John Clark D'Amico. Pranav Kumar Jain.
Michelle Kimberly Johnson. Sharuz Khalifian. Gabriel Aaron Ramirez. Taylor Elliott Rose. Deborah Ashley Straley. Jennifer Sturtak. Zequin Zhang. For the degree of Master of Arts, Emily Marie Bell. Simon Nicholas Bound. Joseph Kester. For the program in History of Art, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Justin Michael Brown. Annabella Gombert-Jouan. Victoria Hepburn. Christine E. Olson. Gregor Kvak. Lillian Claire Salati. Jenny Tang. Pierre-Jacques-Henri Vanov. Catherine Ann Werwe. For the program in Immunobiology, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Yile Dai. Anjali Ramaswamy. Daniel Wiseman. Or L. Wiseman. In the Interdepartmental Neuroscience program for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Megan Starr Kelly. Hyung-seok Kim. Junha Lee. Wenyu Lei. Yueshuan Lee. Kimberly Petra Luttick. Antonio Enrique Oliveira Fonseca. Alex Wang.
Xiang Wang. Chelsea Shu. Kathy Zhang. For the program in International and Development Economics, for the degree of Master of Arts. Soumya Agrawal. Nikila Bhuvana Sundar. Shui Bian. Jacob D. Colton. Shubhrajoshna Dash. Andrea de Berardinis. Ezeriki Emetonjor. Adolisa Edekobe. Lini Fan. Chu Shuang Hua. Miki Kamori. Jiong Lee. Yining Lee. Jo Lu. Dilichukwa Karen Maduabom. Parsa Mahmoud. Adia Mishra. Amanda Nascimento Dayal. Shuru Peng. Yadi Piao. Alistair William Pyle. Mercy Chebet Rono. Alvise Scarabosio. Tsinue Emma Shen. Rakshat Singhal. Vidisha Wani. Yutsen Wei. Darylyn Zheng Ying Yong. Yu Sun Tung.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Taku Zakoji.
Shu Jae-jung. Chi-jen Chow. Ire Zhao. For the program in linguistics, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Sigridor Sayun Sigurðardóttir. For the program in management, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Jeffrey Thilo Borchardt. Joseph Leland Bybee. Taylor Martin Holdaway. An Hu. Lucas Chi-Huan Lee. Tendai Messiah. Akshaya Suresh. For the program in mathematics, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Adam Morris Black. Michael Chow. Yao Chen Wu. For the program in medieval studies, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Carson Joseph Kepke. For the degree of Master of Arts, Sarah Prescott McLean. For the program in microbiology, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Carissa Chan. Selena Marie Gwynn. Caitlin Elizabeth Moss. Nicole Sonnert. Andrew Vertigal. Ziwei Yang. Anna Page Sakiboilo. For the program in molecular biophysics and biochemistry, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Avnika Bali. Allison Marie Butt. Gabriela Casanova Sepulveda. Kevin Chunban Chung. Ellen Elizabeth Corcoran. Daisy Dwan. Caitlin Naronya. Justin Henry Sanders.
For the program in Molecular, Cellular, and Developmental Biology, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Elizabeth Ann Caves. Shane Dexter Elliott. Siddhartha Hamal Dakal. Tianchuo Liu. Daniel Alejandro Tarte. For the program in music, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Virginia Louise Dellenbaugh. Zachary Stewart. For the program in Near Eastern Languages and Civilizations, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Eli Tadmore. For the program in Pharmacology, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Zichen Wang. Jianan Zhang. For the program in Philosophy, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Bridger Eli. Josephine Anna Klingspor. Benjamin Robert Coons. For the program in Physics, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Jacob Curtis. Suhas Sham Ganjam. Yunpeng Ji. Varun Rajiv Jorapur. Jakob Kostelic. Vladislav Kurilovic. Alex Sandomirsky. Kide Shin. James David Teo. Chuan Tien. For the degree of Master of Philosophy, Caitlin Meredith Gish. For the degree of Master of Science, Maria Eduarda Belota Moreno. For the program in Political Science, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Leila Ben Abdallah. Davon Anthony Boyd.
Christian Anthony Chambers. Chongwook Ju. Alexander Vangelis Kolikotronis. Nishin Nathwani. Cleo O'Brien Udry. Colin Thomas Schumach. Shahana Shaikh. Drew Stummus. John Dana Stuster Kim. For the program in psychology, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Rowena Chinhui Ji. Catherine Nicole Graves. Madeline Grace Reinecke. Michelle Worthington. For the program in public health, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Deepan Bhomik. Anlan Tsao. Kelsey Castle. Tiffany Elizabeth Chang. Ariel Chow. Wei Dai. Emily Ann Davidson. Rebecca Lynn Ernest. Mallory Catherine Ellingson. Crystal Harrell. Zicheng Li. Elizabeth Ziying Lin. Juar Lin. Katrine Claudia Christiane Litwan. Yingcheng Liu. Xiuqi Ma. Equin Ma. Justin Henry Markowski. Leah Silverman Pucklin. Xiaoting Shi. Chang Su. Xiying Wang. Okay. Aoge Wang. Shannon Antoinette Whitaker. Hauran Zhuo. For the program in Religious Studies for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Ryan Brizendine. Evan Goldstein. Jack Hansen. Justin Ryan Hawkins. For the program in Slavic Languages and Literatures for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Valeria Mutz. Chloe Simone Papadopoulos. Spencer Philip Small. John Anthony Stachelski II. For the program in Spanish and Portuguese for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Gustavo Reis. For the program in Statistics and Data Science for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Colleen Elise Chan. Alexandra Giorno. Ife Min. Yutong Nie. Tianhao Wang. Timothy Wee. Reitu Shu. For the degree of Master of Science, Siddharth Chandrapa. Emily Goldfarb. Ray Guan. Do-hyun Lee. Rami Palombi. Sahil Singh. Abigail Elizabeth Spears. Kelly Wang. Zihan Wang. For the degree of Master of Arts, Mujia Lee. Every year, for various reasons, it happens that some students are not able to sit with their departments and come forward for their diplomas in the usual order. So now we award the final degrees, which in some cases may not appear in the program. For the program in African American Studies, William Glasspiegel. For the program in International and Development Economics for the degree of Master of Arts, Ritika Khanna. For the program in Applied Physics for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Alec Eichbusch. For the program in Immunobiology for the degree of Master of Science, Xiaohui Yu. For the program in Mechanical Engineering and Applied Science for the degree of Master of Science, Yuxin Luo. And for the program in Immunobiology for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Tianzhao Tina Su.
Okay, that was exciting. Now, please, all our degree recipients, please stand and remain standing as we congratulate you. Okay, don't sit down. Stay right where you are. Nope, stand. So at the beginning of the ceremony, we thanked a lot of people for supporting you throughout graduate school. Graduates, did you hear that? Graduates, I'd like you to turn to your families and friends and thank them for the important role they have played in getting you here today. Okay, now you can sit down. Okay, everyone is invited to a reception immediately following this ceremony in Commons, which is just across from Beinecke Plaza. Please feel free to join us for a celebration. Okay, now please, I guess, stand again, and remain standing until the platform party recesses. And then, this is important, please go out the side entrances when you leave, not the way you came in, but the side entrances. And that's because the School of Public Health comes in here next to do their diploma ceremony, and they need to come in the back. Okay, and because they're out there waiting, please go out as quickly as you can. Okay, on behalf of Yale, all of us at Yale, congratulations to our class of 2024. We're